All right, let's get our Facebook folks in here, and then we'll get the show on the road. Little technical difficulties there in between, but hey, that's okay. We're here now. Welcome in, everybody. It is Wednesday morning, the 12th, and it's time for an episode of Broncos for Breakfast. Scott, it's been 12 hours, 13 hours. How you doing? What's new? Anything changed since obviously we spoke, 10 minutes ago for the Falcons stuff, but since last night.
I don't know how much has changed since then, So,
That's good.
but no, we didn't get into everything. We could talk for hours and hours, and we do for hours and hours and hours and hours, and not hit on every subject in here. So, we're gonna hit on some things, and we're gonna follow the chat and see what y'all want to talk about too. It's that time of year, y'all.
Yeah, it is that time of year, and because it's the off season and not much has changed. I know Jeremy will roll his eyes at this, but probably, 35, 45-minute episode, unless the super chats are rolling in. If you guys are paying us, we'll stick around, of course. But, we got things to do. I hope I can sneak in a nap. I'm still on parental leave, Scott. That's coming to a close here at some point, obviously. And on 3 hours of sleep last night was rough, but hey, man, little guy's getting me excited for Father's Day. That's for sure. So happy. This is our last show this week. So happy Father's Day to everybody in the chat who has a little one at home, or 2 or 3 or 4.
I said in front of my wife one time when we were having this discussion, I was like, I didn't take any time off when Sean was born. And she said through gritted teeth, I know. Oops. Like, yeah, I'm sitting there formatting positional rankings for the national database at 3 a.m. when I got back to the hospital. I realized nobody really cares. The sacrifice you put it in the background, nobody really cares in the end. So take care of yourself, dude.
Yeah, trying to get in apps. I've been working out 5 days a week as well, getting ready for the summer and trying to be, I want to go less daddy, more zaddy, as the Gen Z might call it out there. But I appreciate everybody in the chat. Happy early Father's Day, like we said, to you, Scott, everybody in here. Let's say hello to folks in the chat. Todd Ostendorf, good to see you. Dave Glassman was over with the Falcons, now over here with us, hanging out. Good to see you. Our guy Jeremy Sean says, morning, glad to see you back together in 12 hours. Yeah, we're hanging out, flexing a little bit, working, getting our regular season legs under us, although, July is always a little bit short, right? Or, not a lot to talk about. Todd comes in and says, personally, I think we got stronger at quarterback, wide receiver, and running back. Each of those positions have greater depth than last season. Yeah, we'll get into it for sure. We'll see where Scott and I agree or disagree. Colin says, I think it was good drafting considering what we had to work with. Yeah, not a lot to work with. And obviously the huge, massive dead cap hits as well. So, I mean, we won't know the end results for a bit, but we'll let it play out. I think hopefully a better class than what the 2023 and 2022 classes have been so far. And that will be obviously points of discussion today, Scott.
Yeah. And again, there's a lot of the discussions that go on in the fandom that is involved where 31 other teams feel the same exact way. We got the sleeper here. This was a steal in the draft. All of our guys are going to be awesome. So it's like those kind of cancel each other out. It's like, but we did this and this. So did they. We feel this way about this. They feel this way too. Trust me. So it's kind of like, okay, well, everybody just got better. So therefore it's an equalizer. If you do the same thing on both sides of the equation, you can do whatever you want to. It's an equalizer. All of the discussions I hear in each individual team, not just Broncos, Falcons, Colts, Cowboys, doesn't matter where we are. Maybe not Cowboys. They're kind of pissed right now. They're all saying the same things, y'all. All of them. It's the season of optimism. So we're here to try and bring maybe some outside perspective to this and try and take the fandom out of it just a little bit, which is hard, I know.
Hard when you're this close, but we'll see what happens. Todd also says, I understand there are questions about whether or not Knicks can be effectively replace Wilson's production this season. I believe the Knicks will have to adjust the speed of the NFL, but Knicks can run for touchdowns too. I mean, a lot of that, obviously, most of it's going to come down to Knicks, but Sean Payton in the system as well. Can he craft together and cobble together what's best for Knicks systematically? Because obviously Payton wants to run what he wants to do, but he's also, you need to match your offensive scheme and tendencies to your quarterback. So there's still a feeling out process. And with how Peyton raves about Knicks' intelligence from a play call perspective in execution and verbiage, I don't think very much is going to be off the menu, especially for a rookie quarterback. And still, there'll be some stuff that's going to take a little bit to implement with the speed of the game. But I think that they're going to be able to execute a lot, but what does it look like? Hopefully more consistency on offense, less 3-and-outs, less volatility. Maybe you're going to get less of the plays. I mean, that play that Russell Wilson had last year against Buffalo and 4th down, touchdown to Courtland Sutton. I mean, that was improbable as we've ever seen for those kind of plays. But hopefully just the consistency, getting on base more, going from less from a strikeout home run kind of stuff to we're drawing singles, we're getting base on balls, we're getting on base.
Yeah, we talk about line graphs I talk about line graphs all the time. I like to see it. It's just a nice line graph gives you an idea of where you're headed.
Mm-hmm.
What's the direction on this? How was it? And if we do 18 games of Russell Wilson last year, 16, because he missed the last 2, was it 15? Yeah, it was as an example, it's a roller coaster. And then it might have been, you draw your line through there, and it might have been an upswing a little bit, or it might have been okay. But the variance in there was so bad that it's going to drive coaches crazy. Coaches use the phrase a lot, trust. Do I trust? Do I trust this guy? You cannot trust Russell Wilson to execute what you have called. That's a bad thing for a egomaniacal OCD control freak. And I mean all those with love, like Sean Payton. It just doesn't necessarily work. Now you get a defensive coach who says, all right, with Vic Fangio might have loved Russell Wilson. Listen, I'm gonna hold these guys down long enough for you to make a play in the 4th. That's all I need. But it's different, but it wasn't a good fit.
No, and I mean, Sean Payton just seems a lot lighter this season. Congrats to coach. He got eye surgery yesterday too. I mean, watching Russell Wilson last year made him go cross-eyed or something. I don't know. Michael Ronquillo says, "Good morning, Nick and Scott and Broncos for breakfast. Go Broncos!" Thank you so much for the super chat. If you guys can't be like Michael though, contributing financially to the show, click a thumbs up on the way in. That helps us a heck of a lot. Some more hellos coming in here. Desert Creature says, "If Knicks can win more games and be less productive, I'll take that." I mean, the winning more games is more of a team aspect and being less productive. Wilson was productive last season. I mean, stats output wise, he was somewhere from the 10th to 18th best quarterback in football. Now, a lot of that had to do with, in my opinion, play design in the red zone, where he had some. Obviously, we talked about the high end Courtland Sutton ones, but there was some where it's like Lucas Cole is wide open. I mean, this is a beautiful play design by Peyton, and Denver's oddly ineffectivity running the football. I don't know if you remember, Scott. It took till week 10 or 11 or 12 until they had a rushing touchdown from Javonte Williams last season.
That's
It was
insane.
wild. It was.
How do
They
you,
could
in an
not punch it
NFL
in.
team, how do you go 3 months without a rushing touchdown? That is statistically improbable.
It was weird last season, but we'll see what happens. Of course, we got David Youngkin stopping by and saying hello. Colin's right here. Grading positional group seems futile at this point. I give them all an incomplete. Well, we're grading what we have, Colin. And there's a reason I put in preseason, right? It's a kind of like grading draft classes. It's where we see right now, but understand that it's a projection. So there's a lot of variability that goes into it.
And Colin, depending on your point of view, if it's the Zen point of view of what effect it's going to have of us talking about grading, it doesn't really matter when we do it because it's futile. It's not really going to have an effect on how the Broncos do, is it? Now, if it's to fill time and have a good conversation, have some fun doing it, well, then it seems like a really good use of our time today. So it's all about perspective, man. We've graded positional groups in December. Doesn't matter. It doesn't change anything. It's still futile. But we still like doing it. It's fun. Well, that's what it's all about for me, dude.
It's the discussion, right? Where it's the right now we're the guys instead of it's coffee talk, right? We're the old folks in the rural town sitting there in the morning. Cool. Coffee talk. Yeah, exactly. We're sitting there. We got our newspapers, the same guys in the same table every day at their local rural McDonald's, sitting there with their seed hat going on. I'm showing my Iowa bias here. Yeah, we're hanging out talking ball. Troy comes in and says, what do the coaches mean when they say the additions to defensive line will allow Jones and Allen to play their more natural positions? Also, what do you know about inside linebacker Bailey, who Sean Payton went out of his way to praise? Thank you. As far as the defensive line, talking about Jones and Allen, I think this has a lot to do with Roach coming in and being able to eat up some blocks. Now, granted, they had Purcell last season, but he was injured, in and out, kind of ineffective last season. He's still not signed. They also brought in the nose tackle, who's named Blackson as well, so who could probably play some of that Purcell role, but Roach can eat up some sacks without a doubt. And Franklin Myers as well, hopefully freeing some guys up. So you have more depth, therefore allowing guys to play less snaps and be more role specific in their usage up front, which should help Jones and Allen regardless.
Troy, I'm going to make this in real easy speak for you, because Nick does the good translation, the long one explanation. I'm going to make it like tweetable for you. It allows him to move outside, slide one spot outside. DJ Jones is not a nose guard. I don't want him head up over the center. He had to play a lot of that two inside where that's just not his role. He's not big enough for that. You want him over a spot in a defensive tackle out a little bit wider. You needed Zach Allen to come in and play a 3-4 end and play center guard. Play tackle guard right in between those and holding guys down and sealing an edge. I don't want him out there. I want him a little bit wider. I want him more isolated as more of a true end with the offensive tackles, so I can use his size, strength, athleticism to beat a one-on-one guy. He can hold down an edge with one instead of having to take on double teams. So having a bigger, beefier, deeper defensive line will allow DJ Jones to move a little bit wider from the center, and it will allow Zach Allen to move a little bit wider from the guard tackle spot. And that will be good for both of those guys.
Yep. Should. And excited to see what they can do. They kept DJ Jones, who was a disappointment in my eyes last season, but defensive tackles are getting paid crazy money these days. So very valuable spot without a doubt, and should ideally be better this season. We'll see what Roach and John Franklin Myers bring to the table. Mark comes in and says, good morning. I have confidence in our young players. Go Broncos. Mark, Scott and I are both Missourians in our heart of hearts. We are show me state, seeing is believing. So once we see the product on the field to show out against other players, not just the Denver's own players in that kind of insulated system that is training camp, then I'll start to believe a little bit more. But hey, man, I love the optimism, and shouting out and good morning to you. Hope you're doing well. Robot of Doom says, well, look who it is. The best MHH podcast duo out there. Very nice of you to say, Robot of Doom over there on Twitch. Gatorade Gaming's in the house. Good morning to you. Always appreciate you coming in. Hope you're doing well. William says Russ had good moments, but had way more bad ones during the game. It was like a more effective version of Tim Tebow football, where it was like, okay, we're trying to run the system. Wow, it's really ineffective. Wow, it's really ineffective. Not hitting the balls over the middle, taking sacks that he shouldn't hit, 3 and out. Okay, we got to just let Russ play Russ ball. You still get some of the sacks and the volatility, but then you have the high-end plays as well. And as Scott said, probably drove Sean Payton pretty bonkers, because there was plays on the field. I mean, the design was there. There's guys open, hit the makeables, right? It's really, if I design it for you and I'm giving you opportunities, take advantage of those opportunities. That's why you bring in Sean Payton, right? So hopefully with Knicks this season, starting from week 1, you see a lot more of those makeables made, and you just become a far less volatile offense.
I can picture after a great play, the amazing play to Courtland Sutton. Now, this is totally made up, okay? But I can picture conversations like this happening all year long behind the scenes with Sean Payton. Man, national media speak, fan speak. Did you see that play? That was amazing. That was one of the hardest plays in the world. I called a slant and it was wide open. He didn't even look at it. And we had to do this. Would have been a first down. Mm-hmm. Okay. So again, there's no trust there. There was no trust that Russell Wilson is going to execute your offense. That just isn't gonna fly with Sean Payton. Now, on a long enough timeline, again, the production was there. We've talked about this before with Bo Nix. I saw a comment. I'm not sure if it was from Todd. I think we got stronger at quarterback. I think it is an incredibly optimistic take to think that Bo Nix comes in and throws for almost 30 touchdowns against 10 interceptions. I think that is unbelievably optimistic in your first season. Now, can you focus more on a running game and be more efficient, turn the ball over less, and extend drives, et cetera, et cetera? Yeah. But 30-10, and he's offensive rookie of the year. Almost definitely offensive rookie of the year. Is Bo Nix going to be the offensive rookie of the year? That is an incredibly optimistic take. More than likely, he will struggle mightily as a rookie quarterback because they tend to do that.
Yeah. I just think hopefully with the competency in there, with the additional value of the running game, because Russell Wilson's obviously dropped there, and the homogenous play, or not the homogenous, what's the word I'm looking for? Synchronized play between the offensive line and the quarterback, where Russell Wilson's probably one of the hardest quarterbacks to block for in the NFL, given his height and how he kind of drifts and looks to escape the pocket. Hopefully you can see a little bit better play there. And if you're taking less sacks, just a little bit more efficient, maybe it equals itself out. I mean, Russell Wilson, like I said, somewhere from like the 11th to 20th best quarterback last season, depending on what advanced stat you look at. I'm not really big in the touchdown to interception ratio. I think that's just one small puzzle piece overall. And I like more cumulative statistics rather than just, tidbit ones. But we will see this year. We got Lou coming in, says one stat that'll help this team this season is cutting down on 3 and outs. Was 31st we ranked last season. I think they were 32nd in the second half. I don't know about overall, but they were really bad in 3 and outs, and that hurt the defense a lot for sure.
And the running game, the running game, that is a factor of 2nd and 9, 2nd and 11 also. So the inability to run the ball when you needed to also plays into this, which, there's all synergy there. You can say, well, that was because you're facing stacked boxes because nobody trusted the short passing game for Russell Wilson. Okay, yeah, all of that stuff. So, yes, you want more efficiency all the way around, less boom or bust. The 3 and outs is boom and bust. If I go three and outs in a row, that stresses my defense. We like to give Vance Joseph hell around here. But, come week 5 last year, we're looking around saying, how's it supposed to get a whole lot better? There's monster holes on this from a personnel standpoint, and your offense is putting you in bad situations.
Yeah.
It's a team game, y'all. I know it's so much easier just to say, this is the one problem. If I fix this, everything is better. It doesn't work like that. Rocky coming in off topic. That's okay. We spent a lot of time on this, Rocky, so we'll probably try and keep it a little short. If you want to get a full 30 minutes of our opinion on Courtland Sutton and the contract, check out last night's show. So I don't want to turn this into a Courtland Sutton one again because we did hash on that a lot yesterday. But he says, Courtland has said it himself that he and the team haven't been playing up to standard. So what's with the new contract issues? When did not making the standard receive a raise? All right. Rocky, what do you expect Courtland to say? Okay. If he steps up there after losing seasons, what do you expect him to say? Guys, I did my job. These other guys suck. Pay me. Pay me. Come on. That's not what he's going to say. Courtland Sutton played really well last year.
Yeah.
Now he's on no guaranteed money. And if he breaks an ankle, tears an Achilles, tears a hamstring, anything like that, he's cut and he's done. In this league, the way this league is, he has earned the right to get some guaranteed money this year. He's earned it. The contracts in the NFL are pretty bogus. They're pretty one-sided because it's a monopoly. The back end of no guaranteed contracts are put in there to lower the salary cap on the front end. It's pretty much understood. You're either going to get cut or you're going to get an extension, one way or the other.
Yep.
We're at that time right now.
Yeah, without a doubt. We got Roy coming in. Good morning to you, Roy. Always great to see you. See, Jerron is in here saying Bo Nix not going to take a lot of sacks, hold on to the ball long like Russ. He knows how to get rid of the ball quick. Yeah, one of the comments after the draft Peyton made was sometimes Nix could better hang in the pocket and get through his reads rather than just, the quick dump off. And that was sometimes an issue, I think, coached in there with Russell Wilson last season. So it's always a fine line, right? You don't want to be it's like Derek Carr syndrome, right? Not that Nix is that, but Derek Carr, he didn't take a lot of sacks, but man, he was leaving meat on the bone because he would just, as soon as he had a feeling of somebody breathing down his neck, rather than, having that sixth sense of manipulating the pocket and finding space and keeping his eyes downfield. Oh my God, I'm going to get hit. Toss the ball behind the line of scrimmage. And when you do that, you really are playing into the defense's hands. Now you're not taking sacks. You are giving your guys a chance, but you're also limiting the ability to hit explosives, hit big plays. So we'll see what it looks like.
And Russell Wilson's was a spin and bail.
Yep.
One read, spin and bail.
Yep.
And when I'm an offensive tackle, and let's say you get a little bit of pressure up the middle, but I push a guy wide, keep the pocket clean, and my quarterback spins and bails right into pressure, I'm pissed.
Mhm.
And we saw a little bit of that the past 2 years, haven't we, Nick? With the offensive lineman not being real happy. I'm like, listen, I'm the one getting blamed for this sack, and I did my job.
Mhm.
But to be fair, is Russell Wilson, when asked about anything, would overly praise everybody he's ever played with. You're taking a lot of hits. Oh, Garrett Bowles is awesome. He's doing a great job. Love the guy. So he would protect the guy, and he'd protect his guys in the press, even if he was putting them in bad situations on the field.
Yep. He is he always said the right things, even if sometimes it felt like he was a character actor for what a quarterback should be like in a high school movie. But get into it now. Quarterback Scott grading the position. I think I'm probably Broncos country fans in the chat probably be upset with me, but I'm going to be a harsh grader because you just look at the position and it's like, wow, what do I have to go off here? A rookie, the 6th quarterback drafted, 12th overall, but an unknown. Somebody the Broncos liked, but a lot of reports are other teams thought he was a day 2 graded guy. Wait and see for me. This means that the grade is written in pencil. It could change fast if Nix comes in for 6 weeks and looks great, of course. But you have Jarrett Stidham, 4 career starts. Zach Wilson, who has just been, he's not been good in camp so far by all reports and was horrible with the Jets. I mean, 2nd overall pick, man, Scott. He was just horrible with the Jets. I think I'm going to have to give the room a D plus right now. Again, with the caveat that it's because Nix is an unknown. The potential is high when you have that unknown with a high drafted quarterback, but we don't know right now. And before the draft, I'll own it. I thought Nix was more of a day 2 guy overall, but he's Sean Payton's guy. I'm optimistic that I believe in Sean Payton, so therefore I believe in Nix with Payton. But right now I'll give him a D plus right now. And again, could change a lot because we just don't know about Nix.
Yeah, and again, this goes back to Colin Woods. It's a little futile to have this conversation, right? When we're talking about a rookie starter. But again, I get that. Good point, Colin. So if I'm looking at the LA Chargers right now, and I see Jarrett Stidham, Zach Wilson, and QB6 as a rookie, what grade are you giving those guys? How much fear does that strike into you on paper? None. It doesn't. Now, you say, because Jim Harbaugh is a pretty good football coach too. So you look at that just on paper and you say D is about right. This is the worst quarterback room in the NFL. The argument's there. The argument is not there that it's the best quarterback room in the NFL. Not yet. Not yet. Now, CJ Stroud can change a lot of opinions very, very quickly, where within 12 weeks of the season, this guy's a budding superstar. Mm-hmm. But he was a number 2 overall pick, the number 2 quarterback in the draft. And we're talking, again, QB6 on paper. So, no, you can't go in and say, oh, this looks like a B+. Looks great. No, it doesn't. Not on paper, not going in.
Yeah. We don't know yet. And very much TBD. Again, grading it a little bit futile, but it's what we have to go off of right now. Now switching to running backs. Scott, I think this room with where Javonte Williams is at, I do like the depth of the room. I'm excited about Estime, undrafted free agent Watson. McLaughlin's been a star in the lack of pads coming in so far. We'll see how that changes. But you don't have a no doubt number 1. Javonte Williams looked poor last season. I'm going to give them a C- right now. I think that it's a room you have a lot of options. I think you can scrape together competency out there, but I don't know if you have a running back that you can lean on, and that's one that's going to be like, okay, we have to, on early downs, load the box. They might do that anyway because waiting to see what Nix does, but not somebody who can shoulder the load on offense. So I'm going to give them a C- right now. Javonte Williams, I'm shocked he even played last season, so it could change a lot. I know that he's been like, oh, he's only been okay so far, but it's not real football yet. So we'll see what it looks like, but I'm going to give him a C-.
Yeah, and here's the thing. When we said D for the Denver Broncos for the quarterback, that's not the floor.
No.
It could get worse. It could get worse than that because Zach Wilson has been an F.
Yep.
And Bo Nix is an unknown. And again, Jarrett Stidham has been a D at best coming in. It could actually get worse with the running backs as a C. I like C right in there also. That's the floor. That's the worst it's going to get. That has, again, potential. Everything has potential to get better. We know. This one definitely has potential to improve based on health. And Jerron says, I don't want Zach Wilson starting in week 1. He turns the ball over a lot. He takes a lot of sacks. And he just, we said this about Color, dumbest smart guy I've ever scouted. I don't know that Zach Wilson is smart. He plays kind of dumb. But he didn't get into Vanderbilt. So I always said that about Jay. He might be a 140 IQ for all I know. But I know Jay Cutler was super smart. He just played dumb sometimes. But I will be absolutely floored if Zach Wilson is the week 1 starter. Floored. Yeah. I think I'd go 75-24-1 in favor of Bo Nix. 75% Bo Nix, 24% Jarrett Stidham, 1% Zach Wilson, and I'd move that up to week 5 to 95% Bo Nix as the starter on that one. So yeah, that ain't gonna happen. And Rocky, just to put a bow on this real quick, I saw you say, thank you. Sorry for the rehash.
It's okay.
I'm a fan. Yeah, not up to the standard. We rehash conversations a lot, no problem. But lots of in-depth about the numbers and all that stuff. You can check out from yesterday's show. I think you'll enjoy it. He says, but the not up to standard confused me. Again, that's the royal we. We're not up to standard. I put that on myself too. You have to speak that way. You have to. Now, you can turn around. What movie was it? You're going to have to do. Oh, it was The Water Boy. Bobby can't do it all himself out there. And then the coach turns around, Bobby, you're going to have to do it all yourself out there. None of these guys are any good. You just can't say that out loud. You can't come up there and say, I've been playing great. What's the problem? You can't do that. He handled that the right way. Take onus on himself, even if he has been playing well.
Some wide receivers do act like that. Sutton's never been that wide receiver mentality. He's not up there, doing crunches in a driveway, talking to media. To
rehash more, throw me the damn ball.
Yeah. Jeremy says Optimism season everywhere in Broncos country except Broncos for breakfast. I think if you go back, even like historically over the years when we've done these shows, even Scott and I, there's people who are like way optimistic, and then reality hits and we see what the season looks like. Scott and I even tended, like last year, we probably hit the over on the estimates, or excuse me, we over predicted what they were going to look like last season compared to what they actually played. So I don't know. We'll see how it plays out, Jeremy, but Scott and I are always, you always say, Scott, I'm too young to be this bitter or
jaded.
Jaded.
No, it's optimism season in Broncos country and NFL country everywhere. Yeah. It's just a reminder that there's more than just the Denver Broncos out there. There's more than just whatever team you're looking for, where every draft pick in the world was underdrafted, sleeper, going to be the guy. Every single team and fan is saying that about their players right now. Every one of them. There's 32, so therefore that cancels each other out. Yeah, but we got this guy. Yeah, in the 7th round. What's the probability that your 7th round wide receiver is going to be the steal of the draft? Low. What about Puka last year? I know on a small enough sample size, I can pull out any kind of argument you want to. Yep. The probability says that he'll be lucky to be a special teams contributor and be on the team in 3 years. I mean, but what's fun is, yes, he could be Puka Nacua. That is possible.
Yeah. I mean, flashback 3 drafts ago, right? We were all excited. It's Seth Williams, Auburn, a lot of big plays out there. Maybe a lot of catches from Bo Nix, right? Oh, it could be the steal of the draft.
That was the name I was trying to remember yesterday, was Seth Williams.
Yep. That's just the reality of day 3 picks, right? Keeping it going here, the tight end position, Scott, this might be the lowest graded one on the Broncos. I'm going to give it a D- just because at least Troutman is familiar with the system. You have some optimism with there's potential with Dulcich and Curl, right? They're cheap. I mean, anything you get from them is a bonus, but I'm going to give it a D-, and there's at least contemplation of giving them an F, in my opinion.
Yeah, they need some help there. Can Felipe Franks come in and be somebody? Maybe. There's absolutely an opportunity there. I just remember In some of the mock drafts coming in, I saw Bowers to the Denver Broncos, which, okay, I'd be a little surprised. But, one of the commentary was tight end's not a need for the Denver Broncos, but this guy could be too good to pass up in the spot. Tight end's not a need for the Denver Broncos. What are you talking about? Tight end is absolutely a need for the Denver Broncos. Now, there's opportunity for guys in-house to fill that need. Lucas Kroll, Greg Dulcich. Do not think Adam Troutman's going to be that guy. He is who he is at this point. But there are still ascending young players who can step up and be those. Greg Dulcich could be the guy that you drafted and be, and Lucas Kroll could be one of those incredible stories that was, 7th round, undrafted or whatever, and becomes an all-pro. It does. It happens. And that's why you roll in 150 guys through camp, through the team every year.
Yep. Yeah. So I think tight end room D-. We'll see it. Luckily, it's a position that there's not a lot of difference makers, but you can find serviceable. So it's one that when the Broncos don't have a lot of money this year, where are they hurting? We'll talk about it in a second, but it's a lot of those positions that you can find cheap players every year on the market for decent contracts, tight end, linebacker. So maybe short loss there, but long-term, I'm not super worried about it. A little ornamental. Now we're on to wide receiver. Scott, I think the wide receiver position is probably a C-. I know that a lot of people, we had talked about Tim Patrick stepping up last season, optimism with Marvin Mims. Josh Reynolds is a good role player. You paid him, 2 years, $8 million, 2 years, $16 million, something like that. Not a big contract considering where the wide receiver market's at right now. And also Vele has been talking rookie OTAs and OTAs, and Sutton's back, but you don't have a lot of known commodities. You don't have a lot of star power there at a position that's very much predicated on star power, right? I mean, especially with fantasy football, if you have dudes there, people know about your dudes, and that's not where Denver's at. So I'm going to give them a C-. It's one, though, that has potential. Again, Mims could really step up and be a dude. If Patrick's healthy, I'm really pulling for him. He seems like a great guy. But we're hoping for more there, and I'll give him a C- right now.
I like the wide receiver room a little bit better. Cecil and Andrew say Vele is standing out and could be a steal. He's big, 6'4", 200 plus pounds. I didn't realize he was turning 27.
Oldest player in the draft.
He turns 27 this year, so he's a grown ass man out there playing balls. So he might be able to make an earlier impact and get 3 years out of him on his rookie deal and be done. That'd be great. But I like the wide receiver room better than that. I'm good with a B on this. I think Courtland Sutton is a legitimate number one.
Ooh. B's high.
And I like him. I'm a big fan of Courtland Sutton.
He's good.
Josh Reynolds is a pro. He's a solid number 2. And then Marvin Mims has the ability to step up. If Josh Reynolds and Marvin Mims are your 2-3, you're all right. Now what does Tim Patrick offer? What does somebody else come in and maybe surprise? But I think your first 3 receivers, when you're leading off with Courtland Sutton, and then, you've got a legit pro in Josh Reynolds, and you've got a very talented younger guy in Marvin Mims, that's a B for me.
I just don't. I think it kind of reminds me of the edge position room, Scott, where if you had a superstar in there and every one of those guys was moved down one spot, I'd be with you. But every single one of these guys are one ranking higher than they should be on a good positional group. I think Sutton's a good number 2. I think Mims is a good 3. I think Reynolds is a good 4. I don't like Reynolds what was he? Especially what the market says, Scott. He was available for everybody and he got nothing in an exploding wide receiver market this season. So I think they're a C this season. There's potential there, but I think they're very average. And Troy Franklin, also another one out there as well. You got a lot of options there that we talked about it last night. Number 2, number 3 wide receiver, up for grabs. I cannot wait. That's one of the position battles I'm most excited about because where the targets are going to go is Lord knows right now, right? There's an opportunity, which means you can be optimistic about it. We'll see what happens. But
I think the lack of numbers also has to do with your quarterback play. Where is Sutton if he's been playing with Jared Goff for the last 5 years? If he's been playing with Matthew Stafford, not even guys you would say are the top 3 quarterbacks in the NFL, but just in better offenses. Sutton's a number 1 for me. He's a top 15 receiver in the league for me.
I think he's more in the 20 to 30 range. And that doesn't make him, it makes him one of the top 32 receivers, but I don't think that makes him a number 1 still all the same. Also, we've had this conversation a lot, Scott. I think Sutton's play actually wasn't super detrimental with Russell Wilson. I think they actually matched well. The guy who really struggled with Wilson was Judy, because the over the middle of the field, the quick game stuff. Sutton down the field, broken play, chuck it up, hit, pray to the gods kind of thing. That fit with Russell Wilson. So we'll see. It's going to be different this year with Bo Nix / Jarrett Stidham. No guarantee it is Nix yet. And
Jeremy says Vele doesn't have the wear and tear because of a 3-year Mormon mission he went on, so it's not your typical 26-year-old football player. I didn't, when I said he's older, that wasn't a detriment. I said he's a grown-ass man out there, and receiving prime is like 26 to 31 years old. He's in it, physically speaking, right now. So again, he should be ahead of some of the younger guys out there, maturity wise, both physically and mentally. That good for him, and he's a big dude. So
I almost wonder if he's going to get. I mean, they tried 2 off seasons ago to go get Alan Lazard, who's kind of a tight end, wide receiver, big slot hybrid. You have Lil Jordan Humphrey, who played that role last season. I think Vele could play that role as well. So different packages might have him fit out there. And with how many opportunities are out there with the tight end room, Scott, I mean, they might be getting tight end snaps. Maybe not, your traditional Y look, but in 12 personnel, kind of that 11 hybrid stuff could be possible. So again, opportunities galore. We're excited to see what that position can do because, you don't have definitive answers there right now. So it's going to play out and it's going to be fun to follow. Now onto the offensive line. Scott, I think this is a B unit overall. Obviously, I think people are way too optimistic about the replacing Lloyd Cushenberry with Forsyth. I mean, there's not even a guarantee. I've heard that Mustipher is actually the leader in the clubhouse.
I mean, that's what the Dove Valley Deep Divers and Eric's saying, that Mustipher is going to be the guy.
And they paid him nothing.
Not Mustipher. Actually, they were saying who's the
Wattenberg?
Maybe it was Mustipher, but it wasn't Forsyth. Who's the other one?
Wattenberg.
That it was Wattenberg is what I thought that Eric was saying. That it was Wattenberg that was in the lead right now.
Either way, center's going to take
I know it wasn't Forsyth was what he was saying. That's the part I remember. So maybe it was Mustipher.
Yep. I think McGlinchey will have a better year this year. The big question for me is the depth on the offensive line. I mean, typically you need 7 to 8 guys. Not typically. Ideally, you need 7 to 8 guys. All teams want that. But you get to that second string for the Broncos, Matt Parrott, Nick Garaligio, Forsyth, Calvin Thorpe-Motton, Quinn Bailey, Alex Palshetsky, Mustipher again. The depth on the offensive line for Denver is dreadful. And last season, they were very fortunate. They were one of the healthiest offensive lines in football. So I'm still going to give them a B. But man, if you have even one guy go down, it can be a house of cards in that unit because the offensive line is very much a weakest player is what I'm looking for, Scott, here. The weakest player is the one who defines your unit on the offensive line.
The chain, the link.
Yep.
The weakest link. So I think by man for man, I was at a B also. Bowles is solid. Powers has been average. From a value standpoint, he's probably a D, but from a player standpoint, he's average for me. Center is an unknown. Right guard, really good. And then McGlinchey, I would say, is probably about average at right tackle, across the league. So if you go average, if you go good, average, unknown, great, average, that's a B minus for me.
Yep. I think they're a B, which not bad to have your offensive line be your best unit. It's an area. Bowles is last year contract, so offensive tackle still a long-term question, but we'll see. Moving on to the defense now, Scott. Edge rusher, I'm going to give them a C+. I think that you have a lot. It's kind of like wide receiver, like I said. You have a lot of good, like 2, 3, 4 kind of guys. You don't have a number 1, and at edge, that's something you really want. That's why the special players get paid like they do, because they're so impactful. So I think Browning could be a good number 2. Cooper's a very useful piece. I love Benito as a rotational guy. I think Ellis is good to have in there because you can never have enough pass rushers. We'll see what Franklin Myers / Allen do. Some edge, I'm going to classify them more as interior defensive line for this exercise. But I'm going to give them a C+, B- right now. There's depth and there's some useful pieces there, but not having that difference maker at a position that really needs a difference maker. Teams hunt for that difference maker, brings them down.
I was B- on this too, because there are 4 guys out there. There's 3 proven professionals out there, and then you just added to that room with a rookie. So that's good. Now that's not a weakness of the team by any stretch. It's not even average. Not many teams can go 4. There aren't many A's that in at the edge rusher position. There's not a lot of them. Those guys are special. So a B, I go B minus on that too.
Interior defensive line, I mentioned the guys. You got DJ Jones, Franklin Myers, Malcolm Roach, Blackson hopefully playing a role there. Zach Allen as well. We'll see if anything comes from Awazarike, Matt Henningsen, if those guys even make the team. I'm going to give this a B minus overall. It's much better than last season with the depth they've added. Last season, we were talking about them being a D plus C minus. So I think that's not the worst grade for them. They have useful guys. Again, it's another position where if you have a true difference maker, not to the same extent as edge, but if you have a true difference maker, it changes the unit a lot. I don't see them having that difference maker, but Allen's probably the best guy on that unit. I mean, I wouldn't put him in the top 10 interior defensive lineman in football, Scott. He's not going to make it.
No, but again, I don't want him on the interior. So, I want him in. I want him out wider. But an interior, I mean tackle out. He can still be lined up head over tackle. And I don't consider that an interior lineman. I think, defensive tackle nose guard as interior. So again, I think Zach Allen is a difference maker in this league. And I think DJ Jones will be better. He was freaking good his first year in Denver. And then John Franklin Myers, again, a good pro. If you're going 3 across right now, depending on how you want to use those guys, that is the most improved, hands down, the most improved area on the team.
Yep.
Going in with that, as far as is that how the season finishes? We don't know. But going into the season, the defensive line is the most improved area on the team.
I agree with you. And I'm happy they put their money where their mouth is on that one. As a team that had limited resources, they spent to make that unit better. They traded, and also Ellis to the room as well. They were not up to snuff last season. I mean, there's a lot of painful games last year, Scott. Nothing hurt me more than the physical mauling, see football, watch you eat it. It's kind of like Step Brothers, where the bully makes him lick the white dog poop. That's kind of what it felt like going against
Step Brothers.
You've never seen Step Brothers?
I haven't seen Step Brothers.
Oh my goodness, man! You have all these movie references from me. Step Brothers is so quotable. It's very good. Probably one of Will Ferrell's best movies. Anchorman and Old School up there too. But I digress. That was a tough game against Detroit, and you had a defensive line talent. So I think they're a lot better up there, and excited to see what Roach can do. Excited about the comments about Roach. Moving on, we still got 4 more positional groups, Scott, with the specialists, safeties, linebackers, and cornerbacks. Linebackers bad, man. I mean, it's a position that, again, I think they can change quickly next season. You can pay somebody a Josie Jewell contract and get competency in there pretty easily. There's those guys available every season. But right now you're banking on Griffith / Barton, who is not very good. I know they've had some talk about Level Bailey. I'll believe college free agents being a difference maker when I see it, especially one who is 6'1", 220 pounds. That doesn't tend to play very well in the league. That's more safety size, but we'll see what happens there. I think this is a group that is a C- right now. Singleton is fine. He's a stat accumulator. I think some of that, somebody has to make the tackles, right, Scott? If there's so many plays, somebody has to be the one that's making the plays out there. But I think it's probably a C- room.
Old School. Will Ferrell wasn't. Old School wasn't a Will Ferrell movie. Will Ferrell was in it. He was like third at best, which is what you need from Will Ferrell. I don't like too much Will Ferrell.
Oh man, Anchorman was so good though.
Anchorman was awesome. But that's like saying, that Kramer was Seinfeld was a Kramer show. No, it wasn't. Too much Kramer is annoying. Anyway, on that note, linebacker, I think C is about right. And I preface that by saying that's about normal. Like everybody's a C across the NFL. It's just the way the position is. There's not a lot of tight
end. It's like tight end.
It's everybody's a C. That's just, so if that's on a bell curve, then it's a B. Whatever. It's okay. It's not the difference in playmakers aren't coming from the linebacker position for very many teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Step Brothers is a good watch there. Scott, I would take a chance. I also really like John C. Reilly.
I love John C. Reilly, and having Wreck-It Ralph doesn't hurt.
Did you ever see Walk Hard?
Yes. No, I No, I didn't. I watched the Walk the Line,
Okay,
which I
Walk Hard
think
is like a
the
spoof of that.
parody was like Walk Hard.
Yeah, you should watch Walk Hard as well.
It was funny. Walk the Line. Now we're getting off the rails. It was
Yeah,
funny. I think what's his name? Phoenix or something. The
Joaquin
actor.
Phoenix.
Yeah, Joaquin Phoenix like thought he was going to pursue his movie career, his singing career after that, his music career. I'm like, Johnny Cash wasn't a vocalist. Just because you can sing like Johnny Cash doesn't mean you're gonna be Johnny Cash.
No.
He's not a great vocalist. He's not hard to replicate.
Yeah. Elf
Too
is
much
actually
dumb Will Ferrell annoys me.
Yeah, I mean, God, I love Elf. That's a classic.
I haven't watched that either.
Are you serious, Scott?
I haven't watched Elf. Again, too much dumb Will Ferrell gets on my nerves.
He is perfect for that role because there's like a childlike innocence to him in that role. It's not like it's childish.
And frankly, I love Talladega Nights, but again, that's John C. Reilly being actually a reserved smart guy, not just a couple of idiots. If I want a couple of idiots, I'm going to watch Dumb and Dumber.
I got you. You should check out Step Brothers, and also you should watch Elf. My family is nuts for Christmas, and Elf. They actually have an Elf night. They're nuts. Love them. But they're more Christmassy than I am. Moving on now, cornerback room. Just because Surtain is so good, and McMillan's, although he kind of followed the trajectory of the defense, right? When he was inserted, when he was playing early, it was like, oh, the defense is playing great now, turnovers. And then when he fell off, the defense really fell off too. Got a little bit exposed in man coverage. I'm going to give the cornerback room a B because Surtain is that good. You have potential. You have floor with Wallace, but I still think upside with Mathis athleticism. Moss making some plays out there. I'll give him a B right now.
Yeah, I think that's solid, and that could go to an A pretty quickly. Assuming somebody else steps up, because Pat Surtain's not just an A plus, he's like killing the curve. He is that good. As we're talking about this, Jay asked, can one offseason get this roster to a B/A? Yes, it just wasn't going to be this one. Unless you absolutely unless Bo Nix is rookie of the year, then everything else changes. The perception of the whole roster changes. This was we need to get some of our draft picks back, and we need to get our finances in order. Next year, you got a full slate of draft picks because you didn't give up. You didn't panic when the Falcons scared the crap out of everybody looking for a quarterback and took Michael Penix. And you made the move to get $30+ million in salary cap money back. You got a full slate of draft picks next year, and you got a bunch of money in 2025. It wasn't going to be this one. This wasn't the year for this wasn't the year to rebuild your roster. It was to set yourself up so that a rebuild would be possible.
Yeah, without a doubt. Moving on, safety. Obviously paid Jones good money. We'll see what happens with PJ Locke Skinner. This is a room that's going to have to be a C- for me. Stearns, we don't know about. Is Moss going to play safety? Jones was the second string safety that's played well when given an opportunity last year, and they paid him in a market where safeties weren't getting paid. So they must like him. So we're C there, but I'm going to give them a C- right now. It's probably one of the least important positions in football right now. I mean, again, follow the money. Scott, those guys are telling you with the too high safety shell stuff, these guys are playing less space overall. It's easier to find those guys. I mean, if you have a difference maker, Scott, it doesn't matter, right? Like you paid difference makers. But
there is no market for a game changer. There is no positional value, right? Antoine Winfield, he just got paid.
Yes.
At safety.
When you have difference makers, they matter and they still go early. It's still baked in the draft conversation more so than the free agent one, but I think it's a room that's a C right now.
Yeah, I like that one. And the thing is, that's one that has a wide variance. We talk about these grades, and there's some that have big variances and some that are pretty, fairly well set. How much better is the linebacker room going to get? We kind of know what we got there. But we're not sure what we got in Jones. Caden Stearns, still don't know what you got there. PJ Locke is solid. Does Riley Moss bounce in and out of a nickel / corner? Is he your joker? That legendary joker position on offense, mythical proportions. Riley Moss could be that guy on defense where he bounces around to a bunch of different spots. But yeah, I agree that I think there's a pretty wide variance at the safety position, Nick, between the floor and the ceiling on this one.
Yeah. We'll see what happens there without a doubt. The back seven scares me, Scott, more so this season, the front seven, which not shocking considering the dead cap Denver has, and it's always probably an area it's easier to switch roles in a singular offseason when you have more available next season. Finally, let's go to specialists. I'm going to lump in the returner with Marvin Mims out there, Dixon and Lutz. I think the specialists are a B+ when you consider Mims as a returner as well. Now, that said, I am totally wait and see on what happens with the new kickoff rules and how that changes and what the roles look like. It's going to be a different skill set and body type and usage. And I think these teams are also it's going to be a trial period the first season, because there's going to be teams that try totally different things. And then we're going to get the data and the film. We're going to see what works and doesn't work. And then we'll shift from that and teams will kind of follow what's working. But putting that in its own box as wait and see for me, I'm going to give him a B+. Lutz is good. He's probably a B. Dixon is probably a C+, and then Mims is probably an A-. The fumbles scare the hell out of me, Scott. The fumbles are terrible, but still, good player there. I'm going to give him a B+.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I haven't spent a whole lot of time on this.
Mm-hmm.
The punter, I have to. Is it still the same guy? Lutz is a good kicker, flat out, and you got an All-Pro returner. Okay, I'm good. Pro Bowl returner. Yeah, yep. That's pretty good. And the thing is, I think of the units, the coverage units with special teams as opposed to necessarily individuals other than your kicker and punter.
The specialists, yeah.
Yeah, I think special teams is a priority, kind of like the injuries, okay? What are two of the things that can be fixed sooner rather than later without just a ton of money and a ton of resources put into them? The injuries went from last to first. Huge. Now, does it come back down to 10th? Okay, still better than 32nd. You've still improved on the whole. And the special teams, my God, Nick, the first 2 years we did the show, the special teams were atrocious. Last year, they were freaking good. From the coverage units to, I'm running a play with 8 seconds left because I know I can get on as the clock's ticking down with 9 seconds is all I need to get out there and kick a field goal. That didn't happen. That wasn't happening beforehand. So there is a definite emphasis put on special teams on this team, and the special teams units are good.
Yeah. Excited to see what they look like this year again with the new rules. How does that change things? And that's an area with the lack of draft capital and money. The depth of the roster is somewhat questionable, right? The linebacker spot, the cornerbacks, the safeties, tight ends, wide receivers, the running backs, right? Those are the positions that make up your core four of the special teams. So we'll see, Scott, but the coaching last season and the emphasis was good. It's the margins, right? Special teams, penalties, injuries, those kind of things really do matter. So we'll see how it plays out. But overall, Scott, this is probably a team based on our grades. We gave them a lot of C's. Probably it's a C-, D+ overall. It's a season that it's very wait and see. For us, does that make us haters? I don't think so. I mean, just got a lot of question marks, and we'll see how it plays out.
This was the youngest roster with the most cuts of guys that you've had. This was a burn it down, not quite burn it down, but at least, bring in the dumpster and start taking stuff out to the that's been sitting in the basement type of rebuild as we want to fix our house. That's what this season is. Now, can you still be competitive doing that? Sure. Should anybody be going in here thinking, if we don't get to the playoffs, I want heads. I want somebody fired. And when we start talking about optimism and that kind of stuff, that's kind of why I try and hedge on this stuff, y'all. It's not haters or trying to kill the optimism. It's just, I want the expectation to be semi-realistic so that the reactions are somewhat realistic. I've asked this question before, and I've seen someone in the comments like, no, this should be a 10-win team. If not, I want the coach fired. I'm like, okay, that's where I disagree. If it's a 10-win team, great. But I think unless the wheels completely fall off and there's discipline problems, the wins don't really matter on this team. It's about 2025. This is where you're starting over. Now let's get the arrow going in the right direction. And a lot of that's going to have to do with Bo Nix.
Yeah, if we were working on a formula, Scott, where a quarterback makes up your overall roster percentage or grade out of 100, quarterback might be 30, 33%, which is nuts, right? I mean, that's for one player, but really it is that valuable. So it's a season of you're looking for a lot of young guys to step up, direction of the team, pulling in the right direction, the culture, and is Nick's the guy? You're probably going to get 2 seasons to figure that one out before you're potentially back in the quarterback market or not. But that's what this year's about. So we'll see what happens. And anything beyond that, we'll see. I mean, I wanted to bring this up point earlier, Scott. We should save this for another time maybe. But if you want to figure out the specific details about players and the intricacies of teams and who's stepping out, I think local media is good for that. But if you're looking for where teams fit in the scale of the NFL, I don't think I'd be trusting the local focused media as much as the general media who have a more scoped view. So when you're the local media saying, oh man, this is a team that they're going to make the playoffs this year, but the NFL at large is saying they're more likely to pick top 5, I would tend to trust the overall national media there than the local media. But if you're looking for a specific player stepping out, Vele, national media is not going to be talking about that, but your local guys, they'll be on that. That's my opinion.
2 things real quick. Get back to the local media because I'll forget. Todd says, if Nick's is offensive rookie of the year, how does that change your grade? Nick and Scott, A- at worst. At worst at the quarterback position. At worst. If you've got a rookie quarterback that is your future, A- at worst at the quarterback position.
Yep.
But just to highlight what you're saying, when I was doing recruiting, I was doing a radio interview during spring practice for the with Arkansas. I was on the phone with the Arkansas radio guy. And he's like, these guys look amazing. Do you ever feel like, this guy's out here doing this guy's out here doing this? Do you feel like you've, really missed on your recruiting evaluations? I'm like, guys, they haven't won a game yet. What are you talking about? Everybody else is saying the exact same things about their team as they go against each other. All of them, and I think Arkansas went like 4-8, and that was Bielema, and then he was fired. It's like pump the brakes a little bit. There's other teams out there trying to get better too.
Yep. We will see how it plays out. Hopefully, one game at a time, and we'll be here with you guys along the way. So appreciate everyone. We got Michael coming in again. Great show today. Nick and Scott on Broncos for breakfast. We went a full hour today. Jeremy, how's that? How do you like that? Happy Father's Day, everyone. Shout out to Michael and Troy coming in with the super chats. Make sure you guys are following Scott and I on Twitter. Scott's at Scout Kennedy. I'm at Nick Kendall MHH. Also follow us at Mile High Huddle. Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle Pod and Facebook.com/Mile High Huddle. If you haven't done so yet, head on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you listen to the shows. Leave us a 5-star rating and review if you think we've earned it. And please, if you're on YouTube, our main area to catch us, subscribe, like, and share to our channel. Appreciate you guys so much. Scott, happy Father's Day to you. Hopefully you can have a nice relaxing one with whatever's going on. And
I think I'll be in the car for 8 hours.
Okay. Well, hopefully at least you can listen to a good audiobook or something.
I'll listen to a book. Sean will sleep and we'll be driving. It'll be a pretty good day.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. If you have any questions for us, again, hit us up on Twitter. We're just projecting as much as we can here and trying to forecast, but we're not going to get it 100% right for sure. So if you have something you disagree with or some other information, that's great. Hit us up, man. We love talking ball. Appreciate everyone. Have a great rest of your week. Continue to choose kindness and compassion. And as always, go Broncos.